Hello everyone, today I want to talk about solo rank, improving in solo rank, and other things that will help you improve in any other game or sport. Now I'm sure you probably watched some videos for solo rank between FLC or Nintendo or whoever else. Lots of people have done these sorts of videos, and many of the common reasons that come up would be to gain rank or judge your skill, work on your map mode combination, playing against different people in different play styles, or even playing against different situations. Playing against, like, your team doesn't have a sniper and the enemy team has a sniper. What are you going to do about it? Or you want to practice Dynamo on some map, like Port Mackerel. You want to practice your Temper Dynamo, for instance. And now these are all perfectly valid reasons. There's nothing wrong with them. In fact, these are some of the things that you should be doing in solo rank, flat out. But there's more that you could be pulling from solo rank. There's more ways that you could be learning aside from what people have already given. And I want to go over a few of those that aren't just solely about gaining your rank and stuff, but about improving who you are as a player and using solo rank to do that. So the first thing that I want to bring up is taking notes. You go to play solo rank, you got your notebook next to you, you got a pencil next to you, and you start playing. The match ends, what you're going to do is you're going to write down everything that went wrong about that match. You're going to write down that you got killed by the Dynamo 5 times, that you did not close in on blasters, that you ran out of ink constantly, that you didn't grab the objective when you needed to. You're going to write down all those things that are wrong. And you're just going to go through your solo rank normally, keep on writing those down, and then eventually you're going to stop playing, and then you're going to come back to solo rank the next day or the next few days. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at all of those things that you did wrong or that you think you need to improve on. What you should do is just look at a few of those things. Pick out a few of those things that are really similar. Now, the reason why you want to pick out some things that are similar is because you want to be focusing on one main thing, as well as things that are similar. Usually they come from the same problem. And so if you're focusing on this one problem, you'll realize that these 5 things that you wrote down that were bad, maybe they all had to do with the blasters, and you realize that you're not moving in enough. You're going to fix all 5 of those blaster problems just by picking out the things that are similar. And that's very important to do. Pick out something that maybe you're just weren't aware that the sniper was there, or that there was a flanker behind you and whatnot. Maybe those are a few things that you need to become better at, so you pick those out. And the general idea from getting sniped all the time or getting flanked all the time would be that you need to be more aware of where the enemy position is, or that you never seem to have your team around you. You always seem to be surrounded by the enemy team, or those are a few things that you picked out, and so maybe you should keep in the back of your mind, okay, I need to make sure to not overextend into enemy ink. I need to make sure that my team is around me, that my team can see me, my team can help me out when I'm getting surrounded by all 4 of the enemy team. So you pick out just a few of those things, you go into solo rank, and you just keep them in your mind. Now, by keeping them in your mind, when you're going to be able to react, or you'll realize the things that you're doing wrong very quickly. At least those specific things that you're doing wrong, you'll be able to realize them very quickly. Now, you won't be able to fix that immediately, but once you're realizing it quickly, your mind is already slowly working on fixing what the problem is. Gradually, you will fix the problem more and more, bit by bit, over a play session or a couple play sessions, until the problem is almost eliminated. Now, aside from solo rank, you can also ask your squad mates to work on a particular matchup with you. You have a problem, well, I had a problem against 96 Cal, so I asked one of my squad mates to play 96 Cals to 1v1 me. And I did so throughout a bunch of different maps until I learned how to beat the 96 Cal. Or at least not get absolutely destroyed by it. Now, the other important thing with notes is that you don't just want to face on the bad stuff. You want to write down the changes that worked. You want to write down a few things that also worked really well in the matches. Because these are also important things to keep in mind and remember when you're playing the game. And of course, having just a list of all negative stuffs isn't the most happy of things, might get you down a bit. That's why you also need to write down some things you're doing right. Now, the next topic I want to bring up are fundamentals. Obviously, fundamentals are very important because that's what everything is built upon. The difference between S and S plus in Splatoon, generally, because the skill gap is very varied, so it's a bit hard, but the general difference between S and S plus is that S plus ranked players simply have better fundamentals. Their movement is better, their use of the weapon that they're using is better, their weapon matchup knowledge is better, their positioning is better, the ability to go for the objective, or being able to work with their team, knowing where the enemy team is. All of that is, in general, for S plus ranks, better than S ranks. If the main difference between S plus and S rank is the fundamentals, doesn't that mean that I should just go into solo rank and practice the fundamentals? Yes, it does, entirely. Okay, so I'm going to go into solo rank, and I'm going to practice all my movement, my positioning, and my objective, and my movement again, and my main weapon, No. You're not going to do that. You're not going to practice every single thing all at once. You simply can't do that. You're going to learn so little from trying to focus on these 10 different things that your progress is just going to be so slow, it's just not worth it. It's not worth your time to do that. Well, then what should you do? So first of all, you're going to have to ignore your rank for this extended exercise. You're just going to have to ignore it. What you want to do is you want to devote practice in solo rank towards one fundamental. That's it. One. You're going to go into solo rank on one day, and you're going to practice on your movement. You're going to focus on your movement only, being able to hit targets while you're moving, being able to strafe while you're moving, being able to bunny hop and still hit your target when you're blasting people, being able to move even while you're sniping, because pro snipers move a lot in and out of cover. And so you want to spend a solo session simply focusing on your movement and nothing else. Don't really worry too much about where the enemy team is. Don't worry too much about the objective or too much about other things. Just really focus on what your movement is. Something else might be you want to practice your sub-weapons. For E-leaders, everyone loves burst bombs. But let's say you're often getting killed close range, or you just feel like you're not using your burst bombs at all. Well, maybe you should go into solo rank, and you're going to say, alright, I'm going to get at least 2 burst bomb kills. Or I'm going to practice solely burst bombing a person at close range, and then using a tap shot to kill them. Now, of course, you also want to do some long-range sniping, because that's a bit ridiculous just going up close to someone. But you just want to focus on that. And so other things that you might focus on is the positioning, where you are on the map. You might want to focus on the objective. Maybe you don't often grab the Rainmaker or ride the tower. You should try that and really focus on that. See what the most effective way for running the Rainmaker, effective tactics, where you should be in different tower situations, how you work on that. You can even work on weapon things. Maybe you want to snipe using only flick shots, or use your roller with only flick shots. Maybe you always want to do a burst bomb cancel with your regular slosher or grim range. Maybe you want to practice getting directs with your blaster, because that's currently what the background is that you're watching, is me practicing literally my directs. At the start of when I booted up solo rank that day, I was getting 2 to 3 directs at the start. By the end of it, I was getting 3 to 4, maybe 5 directs per game. And so me just sitting there for 4 hours practicing one thing, or 3 hours, however long I play, just practicing one thing, there is a steady improvement and noticeable improvement in terms of when I start and when I end. Of course, the last thing might be you want to track where your team is and where the opponent locations are, because they'll be really helpful in map awareness or being able to work together with a random solo person as if you were on a team. Okay, so you went through your fundamentals, you went through your movement and your positioning and all your stuff. What do I do now that I've spent 2 weeks or whatever doing only fundamentals, and now my rank is 200 below where it used to be? Well, you're going to play ranked to gain rank again. You built all of that up, and now you're going to play incorporating all of those things into your play style. You're going to play rank normally. At the end of the game, you're going to think back, okay, what fundamentals was I employing during the game? What things was I not? And it's all going to be sort of subconscious. You're just going to naturally do the movement, naturally do the positioning that you want. And then you reflect back on it, decide if what you're doing is actually working, if it's really sticking in your mind. And if it is, chances are that you are now a better player for it, and that your rank will also improve for it, for those of you who really like your rank. So if you've been taking down your notes, you've been practicing your fundamentals, you've been using solo rank to play against different people, different situations, all of those things over the course of, a few weeks or whatnot, depending on where you are in terms of skill level, how many things you identify with your playstyle, how many things you want to work on, you're going to improve. And not only that, you're going to improve at a faster rate than what you've probably currently been doing. You're going to see a lot more success by putting in the proper practice and not just dumping practice hours into a game and hoping you get something out of it. Now also I want to bring up that the things that I've talked about, they apply to fighting games. They apply to other strategy games. They apply to sports. Working on your fundamentals, taking notes about things that you did wrong, these are very applicable to all different sorts of situations. So even if you're not only a Splatoon person, that you do other things, you do drawing, guess what? You're gonna draw a face 50 times. You're gonna draw a tree 50 times. You're gonna draw some object 50 times. And focusing on each of those things, slowly you're going to improve how you're drawing. So that's why these things are very important for you to employ if you're looking to get better at whatever it is you're doing. that's all I have for this video. Thank you for watching. If you have a comment on what you'd like me to talk about or anything, go ahead and leave it. I'll consider any suggestions, really. See you guys later. That carpet getting hot. Almost as hot as my inkling. I did not realize there was an super right in front of me. I was like, oh, the sniper's over there, I'm gonna kill him. No. Yeah. I'll get mine 106 strikes. Over here first. I reached my goal.